take public comment. We have 3 people signed up. James Apple.
Well, for those of you who didn't show up for the Strategic Planning Committee meeting on Tuesday, was it? I passed out some paper, or showed people paper, showing what Ben was doing in the way of a velodrome. Ben has already started fundraising. They've had 275 people show up, and they've raised enough money to file for their 501c3. I think they're planning on using theirs for, I think, 7 months, maybe 8. And I sent Louis some ski scheduling, a way to get tax revenue and revenue out of this type of thing. So if you get a little town like Bend that's willing to do something like that, we're here with, mountain biking. We're here claiming to be the central or regional area for mountain biking. We should play to our strengths. This is something that would drag people in, make us a destination. Everybody would win here. Again, I would encourage you to talk to Mr. Gomez here, because I gave him plans and and things from other people that have built velodromes and how they do them. And by the way, you can find Ben just by Velodrome Oregon, and you'll get a whole list of stuff. So thank you.
And also find Ben if you drive east.
I try never.
Thanks a lot, James. That's good. Karen Tiller.
Okay. My name is Karen Tiller. I live in Riverview. Okay, I would like to see the city a little cleaner. The corner of yeah. Okay, the corner of River Road and Highway 58 is a mess. And I don't know, I've been cleaning it for I don't know how many years. The property owner has never cleaned it. If there's still blackberries there. I cut the blackberries down last year. Nobody wants to pick them up. And I don't have time anymore to do it. So I'd like to see the owner, and I have the owner's name and address. I'd like to see him clean up the property. Or whoever, if it isn't the city's property, I'd like to see it done. But
it's not the city's property.
It's not the city's property.
Go ahead and give the information to
I can, okay. Thank you.
Give it the over there.
Yeah, this is. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Yeah, I might add that Karen and Wes both spent many years cleaning up the town, walking along up and down the highway, picking up stuff and putting it in bags.
Now Wes spends his time at the museum.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Sandy Price.
Just here to give a chamber update. Monday, the 22nd, which is this next week, we're having our general meeting, and it will be at noon at the Pizza Parlor. Our guest speakers are, we have a master recycler coming, so that should be really interesting. And a gentleman from Lapine that helps with the Newberry Eagle, he and his friend have developed an app for smartphones. They did it for Lapine and Sun River, and so he's going to speak about possibly designing one from him. As long as we can, it's about $2,000, so we'll have to figure out how we can fund that. But that's a way for the chamber to promote business, not just for chamber members. The app would bring everybody in town, and we would just have to advertise it, put it on the city website. All the advertising we do, and people will catch on to it. There's some people that think it's a waste of time, but I'd really like to see us go forward with something. So if you're interested and you support it, come to our meeting on Monday.
Great. What about the video? You want to talk about the video that's out and about?
Yes, that's going to be shown Monday also, I believe.
I think it's on YouTube now.
Yeah.
Travel Lane County.
Travel Lane County.
Right.
Travel Oregon.
Travel Oregon.
Oh, you got it. You got to play it?
Yes, if you want me to.
It's about what?
7 minutes.
7 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say.
Well, I think you want to. This is very good. I'll have to say this is really Ben.
Because I work with Kristen Dahl from Travel Oregon to help facilitate this. Just like to give a little bit of introduction. She'll be here on, I think it's the second.
On your second meeting of May, I've invited him here to give you all a presentation and an update.
So this is a follow-up on 09 2010 project they did here called a Rural Tourism Studio. We kind of beta tested it for them, for the second community in Oregon to do it. And it has to do with bringing, how can we better bring rural tourism dollars to small communities like Oakridge. And so we had dozens of people give time over almost a 10-week period, and we came up with sort of some priority lists, and I think that's been shared with Louie, and hopefully we can propagate that a little bit better. But Kristen will be here again on the second meeting in May. Here?
Yes.
Adult.
Yeah, I hadn't spoken to you yet, Mayor, but I was hoping to put it on the agenda for about 20 minutes.
Well, if you want to take about 7 minutes, those of you sitting on this end, if you want to sit, I want to move down to this end. It's well worth watching.
It was released about 24 hours ago, and I just saw it's got about 600 views. So.
Yeah.
I know. I'll help her right here.
Yeah, it's just one. Not enough volume there? And we don't have to turn it up.
Somebody turn lights down.
I can do that.
Oh, yeah.
You may have to listen careful.
Oregon, so unique is every town has their own little story to tell. You know, our story started out years ago with the railroad and timber, but timber's not around anymore.
There was a lull and a period of what do we do now?
Oakridge was a sleepy, dead town and not a lot going on.
As we're struggling with the timber claims, we got to find something. That's the challenge: is how do you reinvent yourself and still pay respect to your past. We had all the players come to the same table. We had the Forest Service, the city, the Travel Oregon, the Travel Lane County, and local advocates come together and say, "What do you want? What does Oakridge want?" And a lot of smart people said, "Hey, you know what? You got something going. I'm with you."
Right now in Oakridge, tourism is really important because we don't have a lot of industry. People figured out that let's use the natural assets of the community. There are things that we know how to do, that we like to do, that we can share with others, and so let's invite them here to do those things.
During the Rural Tourism Studio, we developed this idea that we have to improve customer service. We came up with the idea of we speak Viking, we speak wildflowers, what people are looking for. What are the questions tourists are asking?
The goal of the We Speak program is to train the local community in topics that they're passionate about so that they can convey that to the tourists. My name is Heather and I speak Oakridge camping.
My name is Trisha and I speak rivers and lakes.
I'm Richard, and I speak wildflowers.
When the visitor and the trained frontline staff have an interaction and the visitor comes away excited about their stay here, that is the goal.
We invited some friends out from Eugene, and they all happened to be members of a ukulele band. And I said, well, why don't you have a ukulele festival? We go, what?
music is a huge community builder, especially in a small town. I think the Ukulele Festival is doing a great job in helping to reinvigorate the economy here in Oakridge. Haven't lived until you see 40 ukuleles playing Rolling Stones or something.
It's a really tiny community and find something really fabulous.
Mountain bike organ to me is about community. It's about the mountain bike community and giving it back to the Oakridge community. We got the Ride Center money, which is $400,000 to do trail development, signage, and other stuff in this area. We basically have a plan to develop 5 major trailheads around the community, like spokes in a hub. The community becomes the trailhead, and that's sort of the Ride Center concept for us. If we got that money, shows that we're committed to it, and that also others believe in what we're doing up here. I'm not a real religious guy, but this is where I come from my experiences. This is where I want to be. I think some of the challenges you face in a rural community are the same no matter where you go. But I think every year it gets better around here. Like I always say about anything, including tourism, it's not the end-all be-all. It's not going to save the town alone. But if you don't think it makes an impact, you're lying to yourself.
The rural environment and the rural economy, everything's just a little bit more challenging. There aren't as many resources, and so you have to think about how can I leverage what I am doing to really multiply my effect.
Travel Oregon's been a huge asset to Oakridge. They've helped us get funding, written letters of support. We couldn't have done it by ourselves. We needed that professional assistance. But most of all, they keep coming back. They make sure that we're doing okay. They keep checking back. Figure out something that's unique to your community. Know what you have. You need to own it. It needs to be something that really matters to your community.
It feels good to not be, Oakridge, that, dead logging town that nobody wants to go to. It's like, yeah, I'm from Oakridge, and it's beautiful here, and you should come and check it out.
Jerry? You might wonder who's going to see this. Well, how many hits has it had already?
576.
And that's deceptive. Linda just came back from the Governor's Conference on Tourism in Salem, and there were over 500 people tourist leaders from all over the state of Oregon were at this conference, and they showed this. They started the conference showing this video to those people. He's had several offers to go into film, but
it's already shown in Australia. It's already shown in Australia.
it's what?
It's already shown in Australia.
Wow.
3 o'clock this afternoon, it was posted.
So if people want to go see this on their own computers, where it's YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
It's on Facebook.
Yeah, it's on Facebook too.
That's very good, Jackie. Hey, Jackie. All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay. Mayor and council comments? Are there any? Wow, this is a quiet group.
Take that one and do it.
We're going to leave it up to you. You got one?
I was kind of disappointed last Monday night.
Tuesday.
Public meeting of the high school, we only had about 15, 20 people on it.
No.
It was kind of disappointing because a lot of things come up I think hopefully we'll have more of this later on. So let them know what's going on.
All right, you talk about it.
That was actually supposed to be a town hall meeting, maybe it wasn't as well publicized as it should have been, but we said we were going to put on a town hall meeting about every quarter. That was the first quarter. And next month will be the actual strategic planning meeting for input from the community, so keep your ears and eyes open. Anything else? I probably got something that I want to remember. All right, additions, corrections, or adjustments to the agenda?
Yes, Your Honor, 7.2, request for fee waiver for Greenwaters Park from goats. It is for their annual kids mountain bike Oakridge event that they put on. So. And that's all I had, Ron.
Anything else? All righty. 5.0 consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second. Been moved, Councilor Clark, second by Councilor Coy to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none. Vote.
Mayor Shorey,
Aye.
Councilor Baszler,
Aye.
Councilor Coe,
Aye.
Councilor Fortune,
Aye.
Councilor Clark,
Aye.
Councilor Biggerstaff,
Aye.
Councilor Slavin,
Aye.
Passes. All right, 6.0 administrative services, city administrators report.
Well, as you know, I'm not going to say much about after 10. We're just on a timeline, so we wait till August. In regards to the bond, myself and the city recorder are going to write more than likely one last letter to them, and then after that I'll be coming to council after we get whatever results out of the last letters and see what direction you want to go after that. So that's where we're at. Let's see here. A lot of things going on. We'll talk about it next week. The supplemental budget has been posted on the website, has been set out here in City Hall, and you all have received copies, I believe. If you haven't, let me know. And I think that's all I have.
Okay, thanks. I just got the text. Yes.
Has the budget committee seen this?
No.
Are they going to get to see it before
No.
we do?
No.
They really
Well,
should.
anyone can.
It's posted for public comment. I mean, it's on the website, it's on the counter. And the budget committee, when we go into our 13-14 budget, it will be one of the documents that they'll be looking at. Okay, they will have, and technically, I wouldn't have the original 12-13 budget there, but for context for everybody, my plan is having two working documents. One with the original FY 12-13 budget. Second line will be the supplemental. Third line will be the 13-14 proposed budget, all on one document, so you can just look across line by line, you'll be able to see the changes. And that's not normally how you would present it, but I believe because this is something we haven't done much before, I believe that I should have that supplemental budget right there along with all the other two. So they will have an opportunity to see it, but there's no requirement for them to be in the official piece of it. So,
Well,
on this one.
I mean, I myself would appreciate their input on this. I mean, I literally am a dumb carpenter. I'm not a CIA or a CPA. I'm not CIA either. I'm not a CPA. and I kind of weaseled my way through it over the last couple of nights. But to be honest with you, I don't understand why we would do such a thing. I understand there's got to be people smarter than me that know what they're doing here. But I think this whole thing's just kind of crazy. I think it's doing the same thing that's been done the last few years.
Councilor Clark?
if you have questions, the best person to ask those questions of is this person right here. That's what we have him here for.
You know, if I was smart enough to know how to phrase a question for that thing, I would phrase a question for that thing.
You're gonna make me mad if you would quit putting yourself down.
Yeah.
I think that's the reason we have a budget committee, so they can look at these kind of things
Well,
and suggest or make
Let me
say this is what we should do.
Let me explain what a supplemental budget is. It's not a new budget, number one. We've already passed the 12-13 budget. The budget committee passed, the budget committee recommended passage, and then the council passed. Supplemental budget is if it changes up or down by 10%. And that has to be shown in the 12-13 budget. Does that make sense?
Which ends this June.
Which ends this
Right.
June. Yes.
So this whole thing you're doing is just from now till June.
Yeah,
Correct.
and what it is doing is taking the audits that had all the wrong numbers in it and everything else from the previous budgets and trying to reconcile those numbers with the current information that we have pounding the secret millionaire money. And this last month has been, or last year has been unbelievable. You won't probably ever see another supplemental budget because it's just not one of those type of years. The budget committee's input would have not accomplished a lot because they were just, what they were doing was taking the budget, the funds. Now it's gonna look funny, and I'll be the first to admit it because I looked at it and I thought, I don't get where this is, what this is, or where it came from. Some of these numbers look like they fell out of the sky.
Exactly.
And actually they did. But what really matters is read the summaries in there because I think the summaries make more sense than the numbers do. The main thing is, do we have enough money? Do we have money now? And are we gonna have money at the end of the year to carry us to November? The rest of this is kind of incidental in my mind. Versus what we had a year and a half ago when we had $38,000 in the bank. We didn't have any money. Well, this isn't the same case at all. We got money. Now we're trying to reconcile this no matter how we're doing it. Trying to balance it out so that when we go into the 13-14 budget, we start with real numbers, not fake numbers like we had in the past. Does that help?
Yes, sir.
That's the most clear thing I've ever heard the city say about money. Thank you.
Pardon me?
Thank you.
James, I was just going to say that by law, we have to take into account the money the secret millionaire did.
Yes.
That money alone changes the general fund by more than 10%. We have to bring that money in. So there's nothing the budget committee can do. We can't say, don't do it. We have to take it in. And that's the way it goes. But you can get, and I think you have, there is a little, an 18-page document budgeting that's real simple to read. It's for the layman and it's very simple. It explains, it takes a lot of the mystery out of what we have to do. So, well, I wish we could have done this sooner. It just serves no purpose for us. By law, we just got to get it done before the end of this budget period.
Well, I just, to be frank about the whole deal, not that I'm not always, but in this case, basically I'm voting on you. I'm not voting on a budget because it baffles me as to how we got from here to here and just by moving numbers around. To me, it doesn't seem logical to me that that's the way it is. So what I'm doing is voting for you, voting that I have faith that you did the right thing.
Well,
and I just want you to know that I'm sure that the council members over the last 3 years sat there and said the same thing to Zimmerman, that they voted because they had faith in him, and they just allowed it to pass.
Well,
so that's where we're at.
One of the differences that you will see, and it was a lot of tedious work, in the all the years I've been here, you've never seen a summary where I changed this, or this, or this, and it's transparent, it's black and white. I didn't hide anything. Is it odd? Absolutely, it's an odd-looking budget. I'm there with you. But is it legal? Yes. Okay, I'm not going to do anything to hurt us.
Keeping track of my bills, it baffles me. So I'm not saying do anything wrong. I'm just saying that
I understand.
Remember this: you got control of his contract.
That's correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Don't forget that.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor.
No. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to point out something that helps me when I think about it. A budget is how you're going to slice up a pie. So you can move numbers around and you can change the way you're slicing it, and you have to make sure that what you're doing is that the whole is coming out correct. So but it's an estimate. I mean, we don't know.
But I mean, I don't understand why you would take a budget for $9,000 for the Parks and Recreation, and all of a sudden it's $258,000 or whatever it was.
They even tried.
Holy crap.
Well,
That's what I lost.
if you have time tomorrow, stop by, and I can take an hour with you.
I would do it. I've done it. It helps.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
sit
Because
down and look
she
at it
comes
over
into
the
me
years,
couple
and you
hours
can
at a
see
time
why it's
sometimes.
changed like
Yeah,
that.
and I show her just line by line.
I think we should have really nice parks, that's right.
All right.
Okay.
What?
I wanted to find out if it's legal to do what you're doing. Why does it say in the Oregon state budget law stuff that in order to transfer funds from money from one fund to another, you're supposed to do a interfund loan?
No, you don't have to do interfund loans. That's an option. Okay, that is an option that you have, but that it's not what you don't have to do loans. You have other options that you can use, and I used some of those options, and I believe I explained it in my summaries. Was we used administrative overhead, we used administrative overhead, prior period adjustments. We used a lot of different things so that we didn't have to do any loans. Okay, so that's why I have a balanced budget without any loans. Then you don't have to use loans. No, if I can move the monies around legally without loans, that's what I did, and that's what I did here. And if you want to stop by and see me, I can show you what I did.
Well, I understand what you did. I'm not questioning that. I'm just wondering if doing that is good, then why are we interested in pursuing the bond for Gordon Zimmerman for doing the same kind of stuff, but he just didn't tell us about it?
Difference is Gordon was playing with no money. And we're trying to fix up what Gordon did.
With reserve
This is
funds.
one way to do it.
Yes.
The question you need to look at, and the budget committees will be looking at, and you'll be on the budget committee, is when you get into there, start massaging around the numbers in the real budget, because we're already 2/3 of the way through the current budget with the supplemental budget. Then you'll have a chance to take a look at those numbers and say, these don't look real, or these do look real, and how did you get it? That's where you really get your shot at it, because then the budget committee will have the 13-14 budget, including the numbers that are coming out of this year's budget, which will be year-end balances, basically.
Exactly.
And then you have a chance to question those numbers then. Some of the things we're finding is, I don't remember which one you were talking about, but we have been, the fire bond. We actually got shows a bigger, the fire bond, that bigger amount, because we've been overpaying the fire bond. And anyway, those kind of numbers, there's all kinds of numbers in there that have been found inaccurate. And those that are what we're trying to do now is make them accurate. Interfund transfers can be done, for instance, you loan another fund, what you're talking about, loan it. And we did that one time in the fire department where we didn't have enough money in the fire department. We borrowed money from the water department. You have to pay that money back out of that fund. It doesn't just move over to the state. That's a loan, just like you went down the road and had a loan. Once you borrow it, I think you've got 1 or 2 years, you've got to pay it back. And that means it comes out of your next budget. Does that help? Because that's what those loans are.
Yeah, and what I'm trying to do is that you not pay any loans, is what I am working towards.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, ma'am.
I think part of the problem also is that what we're seeing here, we're dealing with the issues from the past. And it's kind of confusing because we have money in the bank, and yet we have negative fund balances. How is that possible? Well, it's a budget issue. It's not that we don't have that money in the bank, we do. But when we got the numbers from the audit, we found that we had overspent for years. Of course, we all know this. Of course we had overspent for years. So now we have to try and come up with a balanced budget that incorporates the mistakes of the past, and we still somehow come up with a balanced budget. So we're not balancing just our budget right now. We're balancing our budget plus the mistakes of the past 3 years that were never solved. They just floated along because the audits weren't being done. So that's why the budget looks so strange, because it's not just our budget. we're incorporating and trying to make a balanced budget with these gigantic gaping problems that we inherited. So it is going, I mean, you said